What's up, guys? Welcome back to another top 10 photos of my year video. I really like looking back at the year I've just had in photography and videography, but this is more photography based. And in this one, bit of a bonus one, for the first time, we're going to be looking back at my 10 favourite university ball photos that I've got throughout the year. I think I've done 9 university balls this year. Some familiar faces being a teacher, so might be one or two crop up here that I know personally, but I've got a little bit to say about each image that's made my top 10. Lots of smiles, lots of fun. Let's get into it, and hoping to get more of these sorts of shots in 2024. So at number 10, we have this one here from the RGU pharmacy ball. A little bit of bias from me on this one, in the one of the girls here is a former pupil of mine, and we did have a bit of a laugh at the start of the night as our friends here were winding her up about her ex-teacher being at our ball, but got on great. And throughout the night, this is what I love about wide angle shots like this. This is actually on the Sony 35mm 1.8 lens, so not the 1.4. I don't think I had that at this point, but a bit of a funny story. On the night, one of my flashes broke, the mount snapped off, so I was down to one camera and one flash. Normally I go 24-50, but for this one I went with just the 35 the whole night. I really enjoyed it. I've always loved that lens, but what I love about this photo is just the smiling faces. They're clearly having a good time, and they've spotted the cameraman with a couple of points at the camera. Nothing spectacular, but just happy faces. Really like shots like this. Moving on, number 9, we have these two, which was also taken on the 35mm 1.8 lens. I can't remember if this was at the same ball. I think it might have been. I think this might have also been at the RGU pharmacy ball. It was either the pharmacy ball or the paramedic ball. I got the two of them mixed up. They were both at Pataudry, which is where this is, which is not my favourite venue to shoot at, because my style, I prefer using bounce flash straight off the ceiling, and at this venue the ceiling's completely grey, so it's quite uneven throughout, so it's not the easiest one to use bounce flash at. But the reason I picked this shot was, again, the two smiling faces of this couple. They were having an absolute ball. They were jumping around. I love the hair flying through the air from, I think this girl's name's Cloda. The number of shots I've had at these sorts of events where a girl's hair flies across the front of her face or something like that sometimes ruins the photo and makes it not usable, but could make a funny shot. That was part of the reason I put this one in, is just her hair being caught mid-action there. And yeah, as I say, there was a sequence from this too that just made you smile as a photographer, seeing how happy folk are on the dance floor. So that was my number 9. At number 8, this one's definitely from the paramedic ball. And actually, I think that last one was at the pharmacy ball, because it was on the 35 as well. This one's on the Samyang 24mm, which gives me makes me think it must have been the other ball, because I wasn't using the 35 at this one. I had the 24 and the 50. And this is why one reason I love a 24mm lens. You can get nice and close to the action, which makes you feel really like you're there in the thick of it. But then there's also extra layers and extra depth. So obviously, two girls is what catches your eye first here, but then as you breathe and take in the rest of the photo, you've got the girl in the background giving it the peace sign. You've got somebody else's hand giving a peace sign above the blonde girl's head. So no idea who that is. And then you've got this guy casually taking his dinner across the dance floor as well. So a lot going on in this photo. I love the shades as well, because those shades were doing the rounds between a whole group of them that night. So I was quite keen to get some shots of the shades in action. I got a few crackers as well. So yeah, if I was spending a huge amount of time on these sorts of photos, I would have probably cropped out the guy on the left here and just tightened the frame a little bit. But I don't spend a huge amount of time editing these photos. But that one I love for that sort of layers, and you get more and more the longer you look at the photo. And then number 7, we have got this one from the Education Society Ball. It's a little bit like the one in number 10 in that it's just two friends, smiling faces, middle of the dance floor, really enjoying themselves, and it just sums up that end of year feeling of we've made it through, we're done. All the hard work's out the way, and then they can relax and have a good time, and just brings me back a bit to those end of year nights out and things like that. Also quite like the colors in this, in that a little bit warmer. I sort of played around with my editing style throughout this year, and this was one where I liked the tones I was going for a little bit more at this time of year with this one. At number 6, we have one from my school prom, not mine, but my school's prom, 6th year leaver prom at the June, I think, back in first half of the year. And again, sums up why I love the 24mm focal length here, because you can get right close in on the action. I'm probably only a couple of feet away from these two here, and they're just absolutely going for it. And then you've got the background, which is the next layer, where you can see there's some people caught the camera, others just enjoying themselves, having a good time, beers in the air type thing. And yeah, I love this sort of action shot with a 24mm. And then at number 5, we have this one from the Dundee Architects Society Ball, and this was at the Norwood Hotel. And again, I think this is, on the 24mm Samyang lens. Love that lens, absolutely cracking value lens. But what I love about this one is the guy's face, another happy smiling face. You can start to see I've kind of found my colour tones that I like at this point. I really like that sort of warm brown type of tone that we're getting here. And that's something that I've really developed, I think, and you'll probably see that in the next few images that come. But what I like in particular about this shot is that you might not notice on the surface, and it's lucky that it's kind of happened this way, is that there's two couples either side, but you can't really see any of their faces. There's a couple behind them, two girls on the right of the guy. As we look at the photo, you can't see their faces. You can see the guy's face on the left, the couple behind him on the left. But I think in his face being the only one you can properly see, with everyone else's sort of turned away in the immediate nearby vicinity, it sort of draws your focus more towards him almost straight away. And obviously a lot of luck there with the timing of that and the circumstances, but I think that makes it a much stronger image for me. So yeah, really happy with that one. And then number 4, right, number 4, quite a bit to say about this one. So again, this was from the Education Society Ball, which is at the Chester Hotel. I don't think I said that earlier. This one I think is on the 50, Sony 50 millimeter f1.4, and what I love about this is the cheeky sort of tongue out from the guy, the turn to look at the camera. He knows where I am, and the two girls in the background with their peace sign up as well. His look combined with beautiful girls on the dance floor, it's almost like I'm away to have a good time here, and I know it from this guy with that sort of look. So I think for me, it just makes me smile, and you get a bit of a laugh from that. So that was number 4. And number 3 was, again, mainly the color tones that I'm really pleased with this one. Taken at my most recent one, which was a charity fundraiser, Kayleigh, for the Aberdeen Uni cheerleaders, and I got quite a few like this, and I actually have to give a thanks to the band on the night for this one, because they told me and announced in front of everyone, right, make space for the photographer to get into the middle of the circle, and I was thinking, oh god, what's going to happen here, but it turned out to get me some cracking images, including this one. I think this was the pick of the bunch from this sort of sequence, where the circle around me kept coming in and out type thing, and giving a big cheer or whatever. And with this one, again, I love that it's just one guy surrounded by girls. He looks like he's having the time of his life, and the girls all look a little bit like lost, whereas he's just in the thick of it, absolutely loving what's happening. Again, this one on the Samyang 24mm as well, which lets you get more people into the shot, and lets you get shots where he's really quite close to me here, but because it's such a wide angle, you can still fit a lot into your frame. So yeah, love that one. And number 2, also from the Aberdeen Uni cheerleader Kayleigh fundraiser back in November, and this one, another former pupil in here, the girl on the left, Merin, and it'd been about 10 years since I last saw her or taught her, and it was funny when she came in on the night, because got chatting away to her, and it was she just sounds like a woman now, rather than the 13-year-old that I taught back all those years ago. But I had an absolute blast, and at a break in the Kayleigh, when I think they were all having food, the band put on some pop songs for a bit to fill the time. And these 3 got up onto the dance floor just to have a wee boogie, and they were having the absolute time of their life. And this was my favourite out of the ones I got, where I just love everything about this photo. You've got the girl in the middle being lifted up, where she's just loving being the center of attention here. You've got the girl on the left, Merin, who's doing the heavy lifting, if you like, and again seems to be enjoying herself. And then you've got the poor girl on the right that looks like she's getting thrown around, and just carnage. But quite lucky with this shot in that it's on the Sony 50mm f1.4, shot at 1.4, so I don't have much depth of field to play with here, but because they happen to all be in the same line or same plane of focus, they're all sharp, so it's worked out perfectly for this one, and that made my second favourite of the year, which leaves my number 1 as this one here, which is from the Dundee Uni Architect Society ball. Again, it's a couple photo, this one also on the Sony 50mm 1.4, and these two, similar to that last one actually, it was a break in the Kayleigh, so you can see the band are chilling in the background there, but put on some pop songs. The dance floor was largely empty, but these two got up and just started dancing with each other, and their smiles, just made these photos for me. I got a few good shots of each of them in a sequence, but I think this was the pick of the bunch for me, because he's got a great smile on his face, and you can see she's enjoying herself too. I like that you can make out the band's drums in the background, gives a bit of a bit more depth to the shot, and also my backlight just bringing a bit of room lighting to her, a little bit on him, and also adding to the atmosphere a little bit. So that was my favourite of the year. But yeah, got a fantastic year. I always love these events, and I've got a few booked in for 2024, and quite often these ones come in quite close to the event, so I'm hoping I pick up a few more as the year goes on and get some more cracking shots like these. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you next year with another version of this top 10. Thanks for watching.